Alright, so as you already know, Sonic Frontiers and Sonic Prime are the two latest things to come out of the franchise, which means all eyes are on them. And then there's been a lot of eyes on Sonic Prime, and quite a few eyes on Kishimoto's Twitter, because they just keep spamming him with the questions, and he just keeps answering, right? I'm sure he loves the attention so much and is not at all bothered by any of that, so please keep spamming him messages. I'm joking, please. So we're gonna get to all this right now. But subscribe to the channel already, please make sure to subscribe. We are trying to hit 100,000 subscribers. So we're going to start with the Sonic Prime information, and then we're going to get to Sonic Frontiers, potentially Frontiers 2. So yeah, you can see this from Tails' channel. It says here, setting a new record for a kids animated series debut on Netflix. Sonic Prime was watched for 67 million hours after 3 weeks in the global top 10 for English language television, which is a pretty big record, right? So we look at the chart here, and we can see here, Kung Fu Panda week 1, week 2, adds up to about 42.2 million eyeballs, I'm guessing. Well, not eyeballs, because 2 eyeballs is 1 person, so it would be double the eyeballs. It would be like 84 million eyeballs. Anyway, The Boss Baby Back in the Crib, season 1, you can see after 3 weeks, 46 million. And then we can see the Cuphead show, which I just found out Cuphead is voiced by a black man. Who would have thought, right? But anyway, 3 weeks, 47 million. Maya and the 3, after 2 weeks, 55 million. And then Sonic Prime Season 1, after the 3 weeks, 67.53 million. So that's pretty good. Like, it's set a record, apparently. Although, this chart is a bit weird, because like the Kung Fu Panda show, which actually has Jack Black in it, doesn't show week 3. So what are the week 3 numbers? Why is there no week 3? And this Maya and the 3 show had higher week 1 and week 2 numbers. Well, not higher week 2 numbers, but higher week 1 numbers. But it doesn't show week 3. Would it have still 1 if we included week 3? Why was week 3 excluded when we included it for Sonic? Is it because Sonic is high? I don't know. It's a bit of a weird chart. I'm going to assume Sonic is at the top because he's our Lord and Savior. Therefore, we must, you know, be biased and swayed towards him, right? But it's a bit of a weird chart, but good for Sonic Prime for getting them numbers. It was a solid show. Not my favorite Sonic TV show, but Devin Mack's performance was amazing, and I can't wait to see the next set of 8 episodes. Now, it's time to talk about Frontiers. You can see here from Sawasti, next mainline 3D Sonic title may abandon the boost mechanic. What are they talking about now? Well, obviously Kishimoto has been wilding on Twitter. Of course, we already know what it is. But it says, Daddy Quiche, director of the mainline Sonic title since Colors, excluding the actual best ones, has stated that the team considered dropping the boost mechanic during development of Sonic Frontiers before ultimately proceeding to continue with the boost and updating the mechanic to fit the open zone concept. Kishimoto has also stated that the team are interested in potentially abandoning the boost mechanic in the next mainline 3D Sonic title. The boost has been a core mechanic in the series since its inception in 2005 Sonic Rush, a goated S-tier game, still the best boost game, still the best 2D Sonic game. With the exception of Sonic the Hedgehog 2006. Wait, hold on. I'm sorry, I had to calm myself down for a second. It's so weird to see 06 mentioned in like a Sonic article, but not in like a way that's like a dig or like, you know, like, when I saw 06, I'm like, is there a joke coming? Like, is there a dig? I was like, oh, it's just a mention. Calm down. Sonic only introduced the boost mechanic to the mainline 3D Sonic titles, and it's been featured in every mainline 3D Sonic title. Well, I mean, I guess Supersonic Boost. Okay, fine. Many fans have been clamoring for the spindash to return in recent years. Well, I mean, it was in Forces, right? It's returned, all right. It's returned. Anyway, let's look at the tweet. Someone tweets at Kishimoto, "Hi, Daddy Quiche. I would like to ask you 2 questions. Is there anything you would like to change or add to the boost gameplay in future 3D Sonic games? Also, what's your favorite Frontiers giant boss theme? I can't speak Japanese, so I'm sorry if the translation is bad." Why translate it then? Google's going to translate it for him anyway. Why did you go and translate it using Google Translate from English to Japanese? Just so that he's going to have to I mean, look. There's a translate button on Twitter. It's kind of pointless. Just send him the question in English. He's going to see it in Japanese. Now you've written it in English, translate it to Japanese, and then he's going to have to read that translated version, and anyone else reading it in English have to translate it back to English, which is the majority of people. Anyway, Daddy Quiche responds and says, "When I started working on this game, I thought a lot about whether or not it would be possible and decided to hire boosts. So this is the poor translation. I'm still thinking of trying a Sonic game that doesn't use boosts in my next game. My favorite giant bosses are the first and second ones, right? Which, I mean, you directed the game, right? So you're saying that your favorite bosses were the first two. That's not really good, right? Like, I don't know, like, bosses are supposed to get better, or at least the final boss should be like a highlight, right? It's for you to be like, yeah, the first boss, that was one of the strongest ones, and the end ones, no, they weren't as good. Like, I mean, we know they were crunched out, and you know that's why they start cutting corners towards the end. So I mean, I get it. Obviously, I'm sure they wanted to make a better final boss than what we got, you know, which was the bullet hell, or even the boss before that, which wasn't as strong as Giganto. Probably still the best of all the Titans. Let's be real. Like, let's keep it a buck, okay? But on regards to the boost, let me look at the Sawasaki translation, which is probably the stronger translation, because I think they actually didn't use Google here. They thought about whether it would work and decided, okay, no, it's the same translation. Never mind. It's the same shit. It said, I thought a lot about whether or not it would be possible and decided to hire boost. So they sat there and thought, like, maybe we could use the spin dash of Frontiers instead of the boost, but we decided to use the boost. And look, I think the spin dash could have worked for Frontiers and probably would have given us more environment because Sonic would have been slower, so the game could have been longer without having to stretch Chronos to 3 islands, you know, or split Chronos into 3 islands, however you want to phrase it or spin it. But they decided to go with boost, which means you need more surface area. I don't think the boost in and of itself is a flaw of an open zone Sonic game, because they did make the controls nice where you can still turn and things like that, so it's not like stiff Unleashed Generations type boost where it really wouldn't have worked in an open zone. They did the best they could with the boost, and I still think I'd like to see a more spin dash focused game, that being said. And they're saying they're thinking of trying it in the next game, which I'm guessing they're not working on that yet if they're saying that, because I'm guessing all hands are on deck for the DLC. I don't know if they got like simultaneously, someone's working on the next game, someone's working on the DLC, but the way he's phrasing it is almost like we're still doing the DLC first before we even think about the next game. I don't know. They asked Izuka in an interview, like, you know, have you planned out the next games yet? And he was basically hinting that, yeah, like he knows what the fuck is going to happen next. So we'll have to see what happens with regards to this. At the end of the day, an adventure-style Frontiers, which would essentially just be like some kind of Adventure 3-ish kind of game, it would be interesting to see. I mean, I said that before. Like, Frontiers could have been SA3 if it was spin dash focused and had a few little tweaks and better level design, things like that. It's kind of along those lines of like Adventure 1 type of experience, but with a bigger budget, essentially. So it's kind of interesting to see that. But yeah, spin dash focused open zone, I think could be really fun if it was like a nice loose SA1 style spin dash. But you could still keep Kishimoto things like the parkour and Lost World would be good for that kind of open zone game. I would have loved to see like a parkour kind of mechanic. You know, they had like little wall jumping and wall climbing in Frontiers, but I guess a bit more fleshed out would have been nice. But I don't think the boost is required for a game like Frontiers. I think it's cool with the boost, but I'll definitely want to see what they do without the boost if we ever get to that point. But let me know what you guys think about this. Would you prefer them to attempt a Frontiers style game, or any Sonic 3D Sonic game without the boost? I know we always get boost nowadays. Lost World was his only attempt without the boost, and it was pretty stiff. And a lot of people, myself included, were afraid that Frontiers was going to control, like, basically Lost World. But thankfully, they improved that. But we'll see what happens to the next game in however many years, and hopefully we get some information on the DLC soon. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about that. And of course, a big shout out to all my channel members. If you want to become a channel member, you can click the join button next to the subscribe button. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell. Make sure to check out the non-Sonic channel. The link will be in the description. But that's all I have to say right now. So, Premy out.